In every sport, there are many people that are good at the game. There are far fewer that are great. And then there are those precious few that go beyond great. Those that are so immersed in the sport that it consumes them. They are the specialists.
Hey, I'm Austin Delano. I live in Florence, Alabama, and I've been with Mossy Oak for a little over 10 years. I probably first started getting interested in planting and growing stuff when I was 12 or 13. My first real job was working on a farm. I got baptized into hunting at a real early age. My dad started taking me, earliest I can remember, probably at 6 and 7 years old, letting me follow around behind him. He kind of towed me along anytime he was going, so I learned a lot from him, just not just hunting, but, woodsmanship and just the things you learn from the older generation about how to properly hunt and how to take care of the game and take care of the land. And, it seemed like it came natural to me to do something for a living that involved growing crops and kind of incorporating wildlife into that. It really just kind of morphed into kind of what we do now at Mossy Oak, farming for wildlife. Throughout the day I get to help a lot of people, and some of them have been doing it for years, and some of it's folks that are brand new into food plots. And I feel like almost all the knowledge I have has basically all come from, for lack of a better term, just trial and error, doing stuff the wrong way because you didn't know any better, and then figuring things out down through the years of how you can make things work better. And I think a ton of it just comes from spending time yourself with your hands in the dirt, and I don't think there's really a better teacher than messing up yourself and then fixing it the next go around. Looking back, 2004 is when I really got obsessed with growing food plots and growing big deer. So I started getting pictures of this deer in '04 that he was young, but I could tell he had a ton of potential. But this one buck kept showing up that I was really excited about. And as a 3-year-old, we thought, he's gonna blow up. After he hit 4, he literally disappeared for about 6 or 8 months. No pictures. It took us forever to find his 4-year-old sheds. And when we finally did find him, it was far enough away, we were kind of starting to get worried that this deer might, be moving off of us. So we continued to plant, a ton of food plots for him, and supplemental feed and doing everything we could to keep him at home. And then he started showing back up as a 5-year-old in velvet. We started getting pictures of him again. We ended up having a guy kill him a pretty good ways away from where he would spend the majority of the spring and the summer. And this deer went from what we guessed as a mid-120s as a 3-year-old. His 4-year-old sheds were probably in the mid-150s range. And then when we were able to kill him at 5, this deer was in the mid-170s. And for an Alabama buck, you can't ask for any better. Being able to grow and protect that one buck for several years is really what got me hooked and consumed on being a gamekeeper and growing food plots. It's really part of what drives me to do what I do today.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa. When it comes to planting food plots, timing is everything. And depending on where you live in the country and what time of year it is going to have a huge impact on what you need to plant and how successful that planting is going to be. Look at what you're wanting to plant ahead of time and getting a plan put together for when it needs to be planted to give it the best chance of growing a successful crop. And so this field that we've just worked up today, we're trying to do just that. It's fairly late in the year for a cool season planting, but it's not too late. We've had to kind of wait because the soil was a little too wet, and it's just now getting dry enough that we can work it. We've hit the timing right on the dirt. We came in here 6 months ago and soil tested, added the appropriate amount of lime and fertilizer. Then we came in here and planted a spring food plot, which has matured. We left some of it standing, so we've got about 1.5 acres of open ground for a cool season planting. sprayed it with a burn down herbicide, get the existing vegetation killed so that the ground will work up with a tiller or a disc, whatever you use, a lot easier. Came in, worked the ground with the tiller, get it as smooth and busted up as you can. The tiller did a really good job today with the kind of moisture we were working with, and basically only needed 2 passes. So after our second pass, we came back in with the cultipacker, rolled the field, got it seed bed firmed back up, got all that airspace pushed out. Then we'll broadcast our seed and make sure we make several passes to get real even distribution of the seed so that we don't have any areas that are coming up too thick and too many seeds per square foot trying to compete for moisture and nutrients. And then we'll come back over it with the cultipacker second time to bury and incorporate that seed right there in that magic 1/4 to 1/2 inch range. Man, when somebody calls me a food plot specialist or the food plot guru, it's humbling, and I guess I'm proud for somebody to think of me that way, but I've just been doing this a long time, and growing stuff is just kind of part of who I am and what I do. At the end of the day, I'm still just a kid that loves to play in the dirt and watch stuff grow.